So the Cubs are in fourth in the division. They have a record of 39-45. Just saw on Marquee, I think in the second inning, they were talking about that the Cubs lead the Brewers in every statistical category except a couple bullpen categories and a couple defensive like run saved categories. But besides that, all offensive categories, the Cubs lead the Brewers. You look at run differential. The Cubs are plus 23. The Brewers are minus 15. When you look at the whole division, Cincinnati's minus 15. That's gap is slowly coming
they're
back.
Eroding that one away.
But you have Pittsburgh minus 20 or minus 38. You have St. Louis minus 38. Cubs plus 23 on run differential. The expected win total, expected win-loss record based on runs scored and runs allowed, the Cubs should be 44-40 in first place, with Cincinnati in second at 44 or 42-44, Milwaukee 41-45, and then Pittsburgh and St. Louis tied at 39-46.
Wow.
So when you take all that in, who is to blame? Do we get to the point where we have backed Ross and been kind of, I don't know, homers, but we've kind of given Ross the benefit of the doubt. But have we got to the point now where we start looking, and I bring that up because of Saturday's game.
Right.
Saturday's game was tough because, yes, like you said, we scored a whole bunch of runs early. And then it got to be the seventh inning, and you have Smiley gave up some runs, and I think it was 6-3. 6-3.
Yep.
And Cubs had Leiter and Kay warming up in the bullpen. Ross goes out to make the pitching change, and he sees that Brewers had Winkler up to pinch hit, a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ross almost gets like in his head and tries to get too fine with his pitching and like almost overthinking things, and goes with K. Not a guy that you would necessarily trust. In the Phillies series, he came in late and walked like three guys and couldn't find it. And so what does Craig Counsell do? Goes with a no-name guy that even at that point, I was listening to the game, Pat Hughes. He didn't even have any stats, didn't have any paperwork on this Jones guy. He's like, who's this guy? Like, all right, hey, like looking in behind him, like
paper, like,
yeah.
or who? What's the last name? How do you spell?
Ron was like, I got nothing.
Right.
And hits a 3-run triple, ties the ball game up. Leiter comes in, gives up another, like it just kind of snowballed from there. But like at that point, like I've defended Ross. That's one where it's like, just go with your best.
Right.
Like go with Leiter.
Well, and I feel like this year with the bullpen as rocky as it's been all season, why shake that boat? Why try to play that cute? You don't have two lights out guys that you have both, warming up in the bullpen. You've got a question mark and you got Leiter, and it's like you should have gone with your guy. Go out there and trust your guy. As they say.
The problem with I've kind of said this all year is the Cubs' inability to find a solid lefty in this pen or have a solid lefty in this pen is killing them.
Right.
Like, I know we counted on Brandon Hughes at the beginning of the season, but that was just one guy. Mm-hmm. Hardly any other major league team has just one lefty in the bullpen. Like, come on. Right. Like, that's on Jed a little bit. Like, David Ross can only work with what he has, but like it shows the inability to, like, in those situations, to go to a guy that you can trust. And right now the Cubs bullpen, they only trust like Alzolay, Leiter, Michael Fulmer is late, Merriweather sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the
And
end of the
not against the
list.
Brewers.
And not,
Yeah.
but that's the end of the list. Now maybe
Right.
Palencia,
Right.
but like
I want to
Rucker,
see.
no. Uh, Assad, no.
Right.
Wisniewski, we sent down. Like we have
Mhm.
nobody really that like. And for a
Right.
good part of the year, we couldn't trust Fulmer, so we've had like
Yeah.
two guys.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that strength the Cubs have always had the last few years of building a bullpen out of scraps has just not worked out. And I like you said, I don't really have a whole lot of confidence when they pull anybody else in other than Alzolay, depending on the day. Wisniewski's looked really good as long as he doesn't have to face lefties.
Yeah,
Which I know, speaking of him, I mean, they sent him back to Iowa and he's expected to start on Friday, probably trying to get him stretched back out. My gut reaction to that was, ooh, is Tyone is they gonna do something there? I don't know what they would do, but are they gonna move him? Like,
maybe. But like you look at some of these games, and a lot of them have happened as of late. They were up 6 or up 4-0 in London. They lost. Up
yeah,
6-0 versus the Brewers. Lost. Those are some very tough losses against rivals, in division rivals. Do
right.
we blame Ross? Do we start looking like this team is not like they should be winning more games than they are? So they obviously are not winning in the margins. They're not doing the small things that win you ball games. And that's where a manager comes in
Yep.
big because they can help you win in the margins. They can make the right move. They can set you up, or like they can send a guy when they should be sent, or hold a guy when they should. Like those are the things that like the coaching staff
It
helps you win
matters.
those games. And so I don't know. Like I've been the biggest defender of David Ross, but I think I'm going to be watching a little bit closely his moves and trying to look from a little bit more of a critical eye, because
Right.
I think I've looked at it a little bit too much from a homer and like, oh, I like David Ross. David Ross is a good guy, and I think I need to look at it a little bit closer. So that's a me thing. Maybe I've been too easy on David Ross. Let me know if I've been too easy
Right.
on Rossi.
All right, folks. Just let Mitch know. Ring him up on Twitter. He'll
Yep.
love it. I'm sure he will.